Forecasting is hard. No one has a crystal ball. But that doesn't mean it's still not absolutely possible to plan for the future, or at least the many different versions of the future that may come to pass. And even if none of these different versions ever materialize, you'll still be in a much better position to adapt to your new circumstances than if you never tried. Why am I talking about this? Well, forecasting or futuring is one of the areas strategic workforce planning teams find most challenging, and when many seek my advice to help them. What will be the future demand for the workforce? And what will it mean for skills and capabilities? But of course, forecasting is something that many organizations must face up to every day, whatever their industry or specific job, and there are parallels with what we do in SWP. Let's take banking as a good example. Recent reports tell us that the pandemic has proved that banks now need to rethink their methods and to start to use real-time data to avoid lending mistakes in uncertain economic conditions. But why is that the case? Well, statistical averages always hide variations in the data from which they are drawn. The pandemic has presented a crisis where historical correlations do not hold, so any views of them needs to be supplemented with forward-looking data, which takes into account future challenges that may arise. Forward-looking data, such as projections of revenue, provide an additional means of understanding future risks. These offer a glimpse of a possible outcome under certain assumptions, but they can never be as accurate as historical numbers. But what they do give banks and borrowers is the opportunity to act with foresight. In a fast-changing world, a timely course correction based on imperfect data could be better than 20/20 hindsight, when it's too late to avoid a problem anyway. Sometimes organizations face situations like these that are so dynamic and ever-changing that banks need to be able to rerun scenarios on loans on a regular, ongoing basis using new real-time data as they receive it, rather than annually, and take a more granular loan-by-loan approach. But do remember, in SWP, direction and ability to change is still more important than being granular. And in 2021, the best strategic workforce planners, as well as the best banks and every other organization, will be expanding on these practices to continue to look for and find new ways of predicting the future. But wherever that journey takes us, remember, the act of planning, being agile and putting yourself in the most adaptable position is the most important thing.